a story that you don't want to miss. Amazon will start firing employees who intentionally do not stay 6 feet apart after they are given 2 warnings. But some workers say it's often impossible to follow that guideline. Amazon says it's taking steps to make social distancing possible at work. Amazon also announced it has hired more than 3,700 new employees in the Inland Empire.
What is the dark net? Basically, the internet can be separated into 3 different levels. The surface web,
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. So if you look at the numbers, and on this show we do our best to do that, the most terrifying period of this epidemic appears to be coming to an end, if not already over. The virus, of course, will still infect and sicken and kill many more Americans. Nobody should minimize that. But the time for panic, and there was one, is now over. Our greatest fear going into this was that our entire healthcare system might collapse under the strain of new cases. That was a real fear, and it was justified. That's why we locked the country down. But that collapse never came, and we are grateful for that. The famous curve they told you about has been flattened. In the meantime, though, an awful lot of people have been flattened themselves, badly hurt by our government's response. Children are going uneducated. Tens of millions of people have lost their livelihoods. The whole economy.
Hit pause. Just to prove that it is me. What's up, Miss Lucy? How are you? I hope you're doing well in the fucking lockdown. Not so good. It's very, very boring. It's very boring. Miss Lucy, very nice to see you. And I'm glad you're here. I had another viewer, but they came in and left quickly. That's all right. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just watching videos and running it live. So it is what it is. JB Rants. Come on.
Is in tatters. Just today, oil futures traded at negative $40. In other words, things are so screwed up that producers couldn't give it away. Keep in mind, we're not talking about overpriced handbags in some boutique. This is petroleum, which we need to keep civilization going. That's a measurement of where we are. Our economy has shrunk to that point, a point we never imagined would be possible. And that's not a small thing. It's a disaster for all of us. So given all of this, it's not surprising, and it's not unreasonable, that some people would like to loosen the lockdowns. We've flattened the curve. Let's figure out how to resume our lives. That does not sound crazy because it's not crazy, unless you're the people in charge or their bodyguards in the media, in which case opinions like that are a dangerous threat to your power and must be stamped out immediately. Until recently, for example, some citizens have been using social media, Facebook, to organize demonstrations against the severe lockdowns they're currently living under. Expressing your views about the decisions that politicians make is protected under our Constitution. You could argue, in fact, it's the whole reason we have a Constitution in the first place. It's literally enshrined in the First Amendment, and for a reason. But Facebook doesn't care. Facebook doesn't recognize the U.S. Constitution. It doesn't recognize our country's centuries-old norms. As CEO Mark Zuckerberg explained on ABC, people who complain about the lockdown and organize others to do the same have been removed from the site for providing, quote, misinformation.
How do you deal with the fact that Facebook is now being used to organize a lot of these protests to defy social distancing, defy the social distancing guidelines in states? Is somebody trying to organize something like that, does that qualify as harmful information?
We do classify that as harmful misinformation, and we take that down.
Misinformation. That's a term that should give you the shivers. It's how totalitarian regimes dismiss views that threaten their power. That's the country we're suddenly living in. The state of New Jersey recently issued criminal charges against a woman called Kim Pagan. Her crime? Organizing a protest against the lockdown. In other words, she criticized the governor of New Jersey, so his employees had her arrested. Are you comfortable with that? Our leaders are comfortable with it. They applaud it. It makes life easier when your critics shut up and go to jail. They like that. In Elizabeth, New Jersey, the mayor there is using unmanned drones to spy on citizens and make certain they obey. That sounds like something they do in China. And they do. In fact, the drones are literally from China. They're made by a Chinese company called DJI. The company has donated them to 22 American states to control unruly voters. It seems obvious those drones must be sending data back to their masters in China. The Pentagon believes they are. They've banned their use. But the mayor of Elizabeth doesn't care. The drones are helping him consolidate his power. He's for them. Over in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio doesn't seem to have drones just yet. He may, but for now, he's got the next best thing. 8 million potential snitches all working for him. De Blasio has ordered his citizens to spy on their neighbors and report their neighbors if they behave in unapproved ways.
What?
Needless to say, it should make you very nervous when politicians leverage your fear to make themselves more powerful. In order to terrify you when they start arresting people for the crime of disagreeing with them. Our media exist to push back against these kinds of dangerous excesses. That's why we have the First Amendment. Are we watching a flu d'etat? The press ought to be asking that question. They should get to the bottom of it, but they're not. Instead, they're cheering on the repression. Watch MSNBC explain how anyone who disagrees with the politicians they like is, needless to say, a racist.
What is it that they're trying to channel here?
Swallow this. I don't know, I guess it always seems that something else in this life is disease. But guess what now? Here's something that you can't devour, and something moving with the tide. Now it's slipping you up from inside. I'm flying away. No one bears up that way for their very life. Watch your gaze over late. There's something in our thing now. We're at the edge of my life. We're at the edge of my life.
Scalpel.
Here.
Sponge.
Here.
Wait. He's convulsing. He's convulsing. We're gonna have to shock him.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have to shock him.
These are the results of 1,000 electric volts. A neck with bolts.
Nurse, we're losing it. Check the pulse.
A kid who refused to respect adults. Wore spectacles with tape frames and a freckled nose. A corny looking white boy, scrawny and always ornery. Cause I was always sick of brawny bullies picking on me. And I might snap. One day just like that, I decided to strike back. I flattened every tire on the bike rack. My first day in junior high. This kid said, it's you and I. 3 o'clock sharp this afternoon you die. I looked at my watch, it was 1:20.
I already gave you my lunch money. What more do you want from me?
He said, don't try to run from me, you just make it worse. My palms were sweaty and I started to shake at first. Something told me, try to fake a stomach ache, it worse. I screamed,
ow, my appendix feel like naked birth. Teacher, quick, I need a naked nurse. What's the matter? I don't know, my leg it hurts.
hey, I thought you said it was just tummy.
Oh, I mean it is, but I also got a bum knee.
Mr. Mathers, the fun and games are over. And just for that stunt, you're gonna get some extra homework.
But don't you want to give me after school detention?
Nah, that bully wants to beat your ass and I'ma let him.
Damage ever since the day I was born. Drugs, what they used to say I was on. They say I never knew which way I was going, but everywhere I go they keep playing my song. Brain damage ever since the day I was born. Drugs, what they used to say I was on. They say I never knew which way I was going, but everywhere I go they keep playing my song.
Brain damage. Before my baby daughter Haley, I was harassed daily by this fat kid named D'Angelo Bailey, an 8th grader who acted obnoxious cause his father boxed us. So every day he shoved me in the lockers. One day he came in the bathroom while I was pissing and had me in the position to beat me into submission. He banged my head against the urinal till he broke my nose, soaked my clothes in blood, grabbed me and choked my throat. I tried to plead and tell him we shouldn't be, but he just wouldn't leave. He kept choking me and I couldn't breathe. He looked at me and said,
"You gonna die, honky."
The principal walked in and started helping him stomp me. I made him think they beat me to death, holding my breath for like 5 minutes before they finally left. Then I got up and ran to the janitor's storage booth, kicked the door in loose and ripped out the foreign screws, grabbed some sharp objects, brooms, and foreign tools. This is for every time you took my orange juice, or stole my seat in the lunchroom and drank my chocolate milk. Every time you tipped my tray and it dropped and spilled. I'm getting you back, bully. Now once and for good. I cocked the boomstick back and swung hard as I could, and beat him over the head with it till I broke the wood. Knocked him down and stood on his chest with 1 foot. Made it home later that same day. Started reading a comic and suddenly everything became gray. I couldn't even see what I was trying to read. I went deaf and my left ear started to bleed. My mother started screaming, "What are you on, drugs? Look at you, you're getting blood all over my rug." She beat me over the head with the remote control, opened a hole and my whole brain fell out of my skull. I picked it up and screamed,
"Look, bitch, what have you done?" "Oh my God, I'm sorry, son."
"Shut up, you cunt." I said, "Fuck it." Took it and stuck it back up in my head, then I sewed it shut and put a couple of screws in my neck.
Brain damage ever since the day I was born. Drugs, what they used to say I was on. They say I never knew which way I was going, but everywhere I go they keep playing my song. Brain damage ever since the day I was born. Drugs, what they used to say I was on. They say I never knew which way I was going, but everywhere I go they keep playing my song. Brain damage. It's brain damage. I got brain damage. It's brain damage. It's probably brain damage. It's brain damage. Brain damage. I got brain damage.
It's on my head. Give it all. I'll be closer. Smiling with the mouth of the ocean. Then I'll wait with you with the arms of the mountain. I see you. I wouldn't let you show no more. It's on my head. It's on my head.